sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live for the Saturday Sports Fix. I'm here this morning with my man SEC Sean of the SEC Sean podcast. How you feeling this morning, SEC Sean?
Doing good. We had it was a good night last night. Sat around, caught some of the baseball game from Texas A&M. Run ruled Virginia Tech, so getting ready to get into some of this college basketball action. Got some good matchups today, and man, let's get it rolling. I see we got a new homie joining us down here in the bottom too. All right.
We also got our man Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 in the building with us. How you feeling, Mossberg?
Feeling pretty good, man. Saturday morning, adjusting to that 9 o'clock instead of the 10 o'clock time. Of course, I had to make sure I got my coffee, but it's definitely good to see everybody this morning moving and grooving and ready to talk some good NFL, man. I was definitely excited in what I seen. Of course, some big games yesterday on the college basketball side as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad both of you are able to join this morning. Mossberg, if you pull your screen down just a little bit, then that way we can see your face a little bit better. I think your name is covering up your face. There you go. There you go. Today we got a full slate. We got the NFL Combine that's been jumping off. Day 3 today. We got quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. The past 2 days we've had defensive backs and tight ends. And on Thursday we had defensive linemen and we had linebackers. We're looking forward to this day today in the NFL Combine, but we also got NCAA basketball. It's nearing the end of the regular season. Some teams are trying to position themselves on what line they're going to fall on in the NCAA tournament. We got a lot we want to talk about today. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We appreciate you joining us. We also got our man, One Take Zaya, in the building with us today. How you feeling, One Take?
I'm good. What's happening with y'all, man? Y'all doing all right this morning?
Feeling pretty good. Man.
Doing great. We also got our man T1 of City League TV. I seen your Facebook post, bro. I like that crib. How you feeling, bro?
Hey, I'm feeling great. Hey, your boy ain't homeless no more. I'm in here packing right now. That's why I ain't on camera. But I'm in here getting my things together up in this hotel and about to get over there to my Della Casa, man, and get ready to just start getting ready to living off the grid a little bit, man. So I'm feeling great, man. God is great to me, man. I couldn't be more excited this morning.
Congratulations on the crib, bro. We know you've been thinking about it. You said you wanted to do it. You've done it. So I'm proud of you, bro, and congratulations.
Appreciate it, big bro.
Yes, sir. We also got our man Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast in the building with us this morning, ready to talk Combine and NCAA basketball and more. How you feeling this morning, Post Game?
Hey, it's always a beautiful feeling, man. They hop on the podcast and chop it up with y'all for the people. How y'all doing this morning?
Great, bro.
Pretty good, man.
Good to see everybody in here this morning. Let's go ahead and get it cranked up. Right now, we got a big game today. Number 11, Virginia at number 1, Duke. Can Virginia pull the upset on the road?
Man. What's your thoughts, SEC, Sean?
No. Can they? Yes. Will they? No. Good match. I just think if it was in Virginia, I'd give them more of a shot. But being at Duke, I think that's gonna do. I mean, Duke looks really good right now. They're playing really well on both ends. So I'll take those little crazy jumping people they got over there in Cameron and take them for the win.
I'm going Boozer. I just think the way Boozer's been playing lately, I know how big of a game this is for them. Duke is possibly looking at a number one overall seed, of course, even after the big win against Michigan, but the way Michigan is playing, still some questions on that. But I think Duke knows that this number one overall seed, I know that how big the game is for them. I think they actually come out and put a whooping on Virginia today. I think we about to see from the jump ball, Duke's defense at a pace that we haven't seen them. They're moving, they're switching. I think Boozer's, he's definitely pushed himself up into the number two pick for me. So I'm taking Duke and a big win. I'm gonna say 15 points.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I believe Virginia is on a 9-game winning streak, but Duke has beat Virginia like the last 3 or 4 matchups. Um, I think Virginia is going to keep this game close. I think it'll be close with them being such a defensive minded school and program right now. But I think ultimately the talent of Duke prevails and they get maybe a 5-point win today.
Yeah, and this is in Cameron, right? It's in Duke, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that Duke gonna pull this out at the crib. I think it's gonna be a very entertaining game as well. So with a possibility of an upset, but I don't see it. I don't see it happen. But it's gonna be a great game to watch.
Yeah, I got Duke by 15 plus. This Virginia team is not that good to me. They just ain't played nobody. That's what the product is. That's what they're a product of.
Yeah, I'm going with Duke as well. I think they're going to win this game pretty easily. I know that Virginia likes to play defense, but I don't see them having, excuse me, enough offense for this Duke team. So I'm taking Duke to win this game by at least double digits. We got 14 Kansas at number 2 Arizona. Will Arizona win by double digits at home? And what do you want to see out of an inconsistent Kansas team?
Hmm. The question for me is Darren Peterson playing? Of course, that's always going to be the question. For me, I want to see Council. I want to see Council have a great game. I think if Council could come out and have a turnover free game, um, gets him at least 10 or 15 points, I actually think this Kansas team can win at Arizona. But with that being said, I'm taking Arizona in a big win. I seen Bradley and Burries earlier this past week. I think Burries need to be talked about more as one of these top freshman guards. I like him and Flemings as my 1-2 punch, when it comes to freshmen. But I think this Arizona team is still a team to be reckoned with. I have them winning this game. I know I picked Duke by 15 at home. I'm taking Arizona by 10 at home. I think they come out and they show Kansas that last one was a fluke.
Yeah, give me Arizona as well as this one. Like the home team, uh, Arizona been balling, so I think they get an easy one at home.
Yeah, another interesting matchup on the slate we got. Um, I like this to be a low scoring game. I think Kansas and Arizona are going to go back and forth defensively. I like the way the bigs played for Kansas in that upset win they had a few weeks ago. And I think that their bigs gives Arizona bigs a little bit of trouble, especially with Cole Pete being out today. But I'm gonna take Arizona at home in a lower scoring game in a big matchup. I say they win by 5 to 7 points.
Yeah, this Kansas team is hard to predict, man. You won't get. I just think Arizona is too well informed, though. I think it'll be a good game, though. But if we can get a number one this performance, they could. They just up and down. That's real.
Yeah, I don't see Kansas winning this game, but I would like to see them come out and play really, really hard and gritty. They're playing the number 2 team in the country. They should be able to get up for a contest like this in a conference rival, not rival, but in a conference game, playing against probably the best team in the conference. You would think they would get up for that game. I'm hoping that they do. I hope that Peterson plays and he goes out there and plays really, really well to help lead his team the way he should be leading them all season. But I don't think they're going to beat Arizona today. I think it can be a close game, but I think Arizona wins it in the end almost by double digits.
Well, what I'm looking for is, can Kansas get consistent at all? You know, Kansas beat Arizona without Peterson at Kansas. So, you know, if Peterson plays and he puts up a good performance, I think Kansas can beat them. It's going to depend on what you get out of Peterson and what you get out of the supporting role. When he was out, the supporting cast for Kansas stepped up and everybody kind of picked up the slack a lot. If that happens again and Peterson's on, if those guys play up to like they did the last time and Peterson is on, I think Kansas beats them. But it's going to be up and down. You make me pick right now, I'll still say Arizona wins. But I think it's close.
Yeah, you mentioned the inconsistency of Kansas. And a lot of times when you're getting ready to get into this tournament play, you want to find that one thing that you can build on and be consistent at, or it could be the identity of your team. And I don't know if Kansas has identified that yet to start building on it. And it's getting late in the game, so I don't know if they're going to be a good tournament team. They can make a run. We know they got the talent to, but it can start today if they can go out there and play really, really well against this Arizona team. They really got a shot at making some noise. We also got number 16 Texas Tech at number 4 Iowa State. Can Iowa State secure a number 1 seed with a win today?
I'd have to see what Iowa State's schedule is the rest of the way. I mean,
It's pretty tough.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at right now. And they got Tech today, so if they beat Tech,
They got
then
Arizona.
they've got who they got left. Arizona, is that it? Arizona, and then Arizona State. So, I mean, if they win and then beat even if they lose to Arizona, if they beat Arizona State or whatever, they'll probably be a 1 seed. But I mean, with a loss today, they're probably at no worse a 2 seed. But Tech, you know, if Tech goes on a run here and wins this thing, Tech could move themselves up into the high 2 seed, low like last 1 seed if possible, depending on how everything else breaks with losses and stuff. But Tech's problem is going to be without Top, and what can they do against these better teams?
Man. What's your thoughts on this one, City League?
Let me see. I'm gonna take the lower seed team, man. It's time for playoff basketball. That's coming up. Tournament basketball, conference tournament, and I'm gonna look for these teams that've been out here balling to try to position themselves, just like you said with Iowa State, and them trying to get and hold on to that number 1 seed. So I'm gonna look for Iowa State to pull this out.
I like this Iowa State team. Can they secure a number 1 seed? I think we got to see them win today and then beat Arizona. Momcilovic, he's shooting over 50% from beyond the arc. I think if he's not the number 1 shooter in college basketball, he's right there. I think at the 3-point line. I think Jefferson, who's been talked about, Player of the Year honors, he's averaging 17, 7, 8 rebounds to go along with about 6 assists. So when you think of a well-rounded team with two stars like they have, and then the guard that they have as well, bring the ball up and controls that offense. I think this Iowa State team is a problem. I talked about them a few weeks ago. I think they need to win today and win against Arizona coming up on Monday, Tuesday to secure that number one seed. And they actually, I think, with the win over Arizona and Texas Tech, can actually challenge that number one overall seed as well.
Yeah, Iowa State is one of the better teams in the nation. I think we all understand that. Their key, the key to Iowa State in this game will be, of course, their defensive presence, and they're a defensive minded team. They're only giving up like 67, 68 points a game. I think that spells a lot of trouble for Texas Tech without Toppin, even though Texas Tech has shown the ability to score the basketball, even without Toppin. But I don't think they have enough to beat this Iowa State team today. I got Iowa State by 10 points.
Yeah, hey, listen, Post he kind of said it, man. Without Toppin, I feel like these guards for Texas Tech done really turned it up a notch. And the key thing in March for me is always going to be guard play. I mean, I think them dudes is humming, man. I could see an upset today for real. I think Texas Tech can get them.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech can beat them. I'm not picking them to beat them today, but I think they can. I think they got enough talent on that team, especially if it was in Lubbock. I definitely would be picking Texas Tech, but it's not. It's in Ames, Iowa. I'm gonna pick Iowa State to win this game in a close one, and I think if they win this game today, and they play Arizona close enough, and not get blown out, they're going to end up with a number one overall seed if they win today and they play a really, really close game against Arizona. Because I don't think they're going to make them fall if they lose to Arizona, a number two team, in a close game.
Just real quick, I like the fact that Zay said the possibility of them upsetting Iowa State. I've been watching Lewan Watts as a junior, undersized, small forward, power forward. He reminds me of Charles Barkley. When you talk about a big that's undersized and can really put the ball on the floor and do it all, I think Lewan Watts is the way. If you look at this Texas Tech team, it all lies on him now. Without Toppin being there, he's that junior that could, I think, rally this team and possibly put them in the verge of an upset. So I know it's a lot of shoes to fill, being a junior, but I think Lewan Watts could definitely handle that. And he's just a player that I had to mention when it comes to that Texas Tech team with Toppin being out. And when you talk about an upset, he's capable of dropping a 30 ball any given night.
Yeah, what do y'all think about this next matchup? Number 17, Alabama, traveling to number 22, Tennessee. With a win, can Tennessee pencil themselves in for a top five, into a 5 seed or higher if they can get this win? Because Tennessee hasn't been playing like we've seen Tennessee play in the past couple of years. What's y'all's thoughts on this matchup?
Well, like you said if Tennessee can win, and this is one of those if games. I think this is a toss-up pick'em game right here. But as I've been I'm going with these home teams today. That's what it's looking like. It's looking like I'm going with the home teams, and this one won't be any different. But like I said, I believe this is a toss-up game, and I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Some good basketball today. Some great basketball today. What you got? What?
I'll go take the over in this game. The total's 166. Take the over quickly. This game is going to be, Bama plays no defense. Bama can score like crazy, though. Good Lord, can they put the ball? Tennessee will play some defense. I don't know if Tennessee has the horses to keep up with Alabama if Alabama's on fire. So I'm taking Bama on the road, and I think it's pretty convincing. I'd say Bama probably beats them by double figures, but both teams will get up over. Both teams will probably get into the high 80s. Bama might hit the 90, 95, 97 mark. It's just how Bama plays. So, give me Alabama to win this one.
Yeah, that's a good call taking the over for this game today. So I definitely agree with that. I do think both of these teams are going to score. Tennessee got the victory the last time they played at Alabama. So Alabama will be revenge minded today, and I think they get the job done. A little bit more firepower than Tennessee, I believe. So give me Alabama. And I think that's a perfect spot as far as seeding when it comes to Alabama. I think they'll be, 4, 5, 6. That's their range, especially if they can get a victory today.
I like this Tennessee team. The times I've watched them throughout the season, I think, having a powerful freshman like Amen, I think this could be a coming out party for him, along with some of the other games he's performed this year. I think he's a great player as well when you talk about freshmen. But I think with them beating Alabama at home, I think they, come back home knowing what they did and knowing the position that they could put themselves in, not just for the SEC tournament, but for the March Madness tournament as well. I think this Tennessee team come out, and I think they put something on Alabama. Alabama's defense has been a problem. I think that's why they were moved. Like, I think they were ranked high, of course, because what they came in. But if you see they're 17, I just don't think their defense is going to help them in this game either today. I think that's been their downfall all season. You could, offense sell tickets, defense win championships. Tennessee's going to get their championship win against Alabama today.
Yeah, I like Tennessee too, Moss. I like Gillespie. I think he a baller at that guard position. They got a former Buckeye Okpara over there, so I'll be kind of staying tuned in with him too. But man, this Bama team been hot, bro. They've been hot lately. So I mean, I think I think they're on a 6-game win streak or something like that. I think they keep that going. You know, and like Sean was saying, they put that ball in the bucket, bro. They did. They man, listen. They got like 6 dudes for real that probably somewhere averaging probably 10+ points for real. If you really look at the numbers, I don't know. I ain't looked at the real official stats, but I see like 6 dudes on their team that be getting to it for real.
Yeah, this Alabama team can really, really fill it up, man. But I think the fact that they don't play well on the defensive end and they're on the road in Tennessee, a Tennessee team that wants to play defense first, and I think they'll be able to score on Alabama because Alabama doesn't play enough defense. I'm going with Tennessee in this one. Home crowd. The fact that Alabama don't play no defense and Tennessee wants to play defense to try to slow you down and win games that way, I'm going to go with them. But I think Tennessee will only be a 5 seed or lower, even though they're going to get this win today. I don't see them getting on the 4 line or better.
Real quick, Zay, you was pretty spot on. Alabama's on a 7-game heater, and they have 5 guys averaging over 12 points per game, and they have another one who averages 10, but that's Bediako, who only played like 3 games. So,
yeah. What do y'all think about this number 20 Arkansas going to number 7 Florida? What percentage would you give Florida at getting a number 1 seed, or are they a 2 seed at best?
I'll give Florida right now. I'm gonna put Florida at about a 75% shot at a 1 seed. A lot's gonna depend on today. If they can beat Arkansas, I think they right around that 75 to 80% range to get one of the number 1 seeds. But if they lose, I think at best they're a 2 seed. Florida can lock up a share of the SEC regular season title today. And going back to Michigan real quick, Michigan can lock up the Big Ten today. Or, I guess yesterday. I guess if Nebraska loses, they can. So
they locked it up.
But I knew it was right on the edge with games left. But this is going to be a great matchup. This is must-see basketball right here. You've got that huge front line of Florida with guard play that's been coming on, going against decent size and stuff from Arkansas with probably one of the best freshman guards, if not the best in the country, in Acuff.
Taking Flemings.
So, give me Acuff over him any day. But I'm going to go with Arkansas pulling the upset at Florida. I think those guards from Arkansas have been shooting like crazy. I watched them against my Aggies the other night. They just went off from three. And they've got enough size to hang with Florida. So give me Arkansas in the upset on the road.
Hey, I'm going with Pig Suey too. I'm getting away from my home team, getting a win. And this is probably just because I have a little bit of that Arkansas in me, and I still kind of like root for them when I see them. Don't care for Florida that much, but you can give me Arkansas in this one on the upset on the road.
I like this. I think this is pretty much a banger, as we call him. I like Acuff Jr. He's in a class of, joining Pistol Pete when it comes to that scoring mark, things like that of what he's doing. He just had a big 49-point game against Alabama last weekend, but I like this Florida team. Hall's playing big. This Florida team, this Florida defense is tenacious. You think of their length. I think they're going to have a player like Howe guarding Acuff Jr., which he can do with his length. And I think that'll be the difference maker, the way they throw different players at Acuff Jr. today. Flan, I think he comes out and he has a bigger performance. The Madison Square Garden game with UConn, he had his family, a lot of tickets. I think for Florida's game today, Boogie Flan shows up, has a big game. I'm taking Florida to win. And I think they can definitely be a 2 seed. That 1 seed right now is tough with the way UConn is balling. They got to get above UConn, and that's going to be pretty tough right now because they looking like they could win as well.
Yeah, another great matchup we got today. I'll take Florida in this game. I enjoy watching Darius Acuff. I think he's one of the better players in the nation. And Arkansas can score, man, but I think the size is going to give Arkansas a lot of problems at home today. So I'll take Florida, and I'll take an under. Give me the under on this. And when you ask are their chances of getting a number one, they have a really good chance of getting a number one. It's all going to come down for me to the SEC tournament.
All right, y'all, real quick. My fault. Let me get up out my homerism. I got to get back to my home team. Y'all to convince me to change my pick. So I'm going to go ahead and, just let Arkansas do what Arkansas do. And I'm going to keep it moving. And I'm going to go ahead and go with that home team again, man. Give me Florida.
You got roots down there, T1, man. I don't want nobody coming at you, man.
Yeah, but hey, look, sometimes you gotta pull them roots up out the ground and go ahead and let them cook, man. And so that's what we're gonna do here today with this game right here.
Yeah, I think Florida still got a chance to get a 1 seed. It depends on conference tournament, though. I think if they can run through it, they could possibly get up there and get that last one, depending upon other variables too. But it's not a good chance that they get a 1 seed. But I definitely still think it's possible. But we got a prolific scorer on one side, and we got
Cutting out.
Tenacious defense.
on the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah, you cutting out pretty bad.
Oh yeah, that's because my phone is fighting the Wi-Fi. Uh, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can.
got
good.
you now.
Yeah, but I was saying Arkansas. I like some of them athletes they got. You know, Cal always got some athletes on the wing for real. But I'm going with Florida, man. This is my pick. Everybody already know over the last few weeks I've been saying Florida is my favorite. I don't care if they a 1 seed, 2 seed, or 3 seed. When they fall in that bracket, teams is gonna be scared to play them for real. People do not want to play that team, bro.
Quick question, real quick. Was you still talking, Zay? Do you think Boogie Flan could put a stop to A Cup Jr. with his defense and the way that he's excelling? You know, just make me think about the game earlier when he got 8 steals against Alabama. How big that game was. Do you think he could perform in the likes of that same defensive performance today?
Nah, I don't think nobody can stop Acuff. I'm just gonna be 100. I think he's the best point guard in the draft. He overtook Fleming's. I watched that little 49-point burner live. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, nah, people ain't got what he got. These guards ain't got what he got.
Me and Post was texting when he was texting me about that, and I instantly turned to that game. For me, I don't know what it is. I just think seeing Fleming's play on that, you know, for him to be that size, that small, that cat quick, and I really watch how this team in Houston, how they have senior leadership. They really come to this freshman at his young stature, and he's, you know, really been able to handle so much pressure this season. That's, you know, just my opinion in choosing him. I think either way is a great choice, man. You're not losing A Cup or Flynn.
No, I think he can make it real difficult on them, but I don't think a player like Acuff you stop. You can only hope to contain a player like that. So, I think he can give them trouble, and make it difficult. But Acuff gonna be Acuff and get his.
You got to be able to stop the others. I mean, if you're going to let Acuff get his, you got to be able to shut everybody else down. I just don't know. He's what really concerns me with Florida. Why I picked Arkansas is if Acuff's getting into the paint, he's going to get those bigs in foul trouble. And now
Yeah.
Florida got a problem.
You also got Thomas. A lot of people. I watched that game when he went off for 49, but I was watching Thomas. That kid's he's a baller. So this might be the game to watch today. You know, Florida, Arkansas. You got Thomas. You got Acuff Jr. You got Hall. You got Gillespie. Um, you got the other. I can't think of his name. The other big for Florida. I mean, this game is going to be pure March Madness feeling for sure.
Well, if you want to, it's at 8:30 on ESPN. It's the primetime game on ESPN tonight.
Definitely tuning in.
Yeah, I really like this Florida team. I'm giving them a 50-50 chance at getting a number 1 seed, but I really do believe a 2 seed is probably the best that they're going to get, even if they do win this game today. I think if they do really, really well in the SEC tournament, that can help them out a lot. But I think that's where they're going to end up at as a 2 seed. I like this Florida team. I like their length. Their guards are starting to play a little bit better than what they did earlier in the season. They got a guy on their team who's a defensive guy, who's a defensive stopper. I would probably run him at that guard, Aiken or whatever his name is. I would run him at him a couple of times, man, just to give him a different look, a longer body, a longer wingspan to get around, and maybe see if I could throw him off a little bit on the offensive end of the floor when Arkansas has the ball and see how that works for them. But I think Florida's length is probably going to give them a little bit of trouble. I do believe if they can get in that paint against Florida, though, they can get those big guys in foul trouble. But I'm taking Florida in this one to win a really, really close game at home over Arkansas. Number 3, Michigan handled number 10, Illinois, on the road by 14. Is Illinois ranked too high?
Sorry, Unc. I think they got your Illini. I think they got your Illini ranked too high. I've been watching them. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the young is starting to show in this late point in the season. But if they could put it all together and make a run during this Big Ten tournament, this could be something that we come into again. Have they improved since, this point where we talking at today? But I think they do have them ranked a little too high. I mean, but they are very talented. I think, this point next year, they could be at this position, if not even higher ranked. You never know what the portal would do for you, but just my thoughts. I think they ranked a little too high.
Yeah, I'm going to rile some feathers with this one because the Big Ten is really good in basketball. So I think it's Big Ten bias getting them ranked that high. Just my opinion. I don't know if they're ranked too. They might be ranked too high, to be honest. I mean, but you lost to what people consider one of, if not the best teams in the country. I mean, yeah, it was at home and it was by 14, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe 10 is too high, but maybe 15. And I still think Illinois is probably a top 15 team. So I'm not going to take too much from that. Like I said, if it would have been a loss to like a Maryland by 14, okay, we could discuss are they ranked. But you lost to Michigan, who's been in the top 5 all year. So I'm not too worried about their ranking right now.
Yeah, man. If is Illinois ranked too high? Absolutely not. I love this Illinois team. They just ran into the better team. I knew this was gonna happen, but I mean, as far as the game, I think that Mara down low in the second half really hurt this Illinois team. And for Illinois, it only seemed like Wagler really wanted to play. I don't know. That's a testament to Michigan's defense, though. But Wagler was the only one to me that looked like he wanted to play. But I mean, great victory. I think the bigs really hurt Illinois in this game. But are they ranked too high? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think they're ranked too high. I just think that the fact that Michigan is a really good basketball team and really good defensive team, that was probably the difference in them winning by 14 in this matchup because they play really, really good defense. And I think that's what's going to be the key for them in the tournament is the fact that they're going to be able to play some solid defense on teams and keep them from scoring in the upper 70s. And if you can keep a team 70 and below, you got a really good chance of winning when you got a good offense, the guys that can score. So I don't think the Illinois is ranked too high, but they got some guys that's going to have to step up when they get tournament time because they can't depend on Wagler to do it all.
Yeah, I don't think they're too high either. Just like pretty much all the conferences, man. I think I think all the conferences are doing a great job and have some great teams. And you could pick a national championship from any conference, a national champion rather from any conference, I believe. But no, I don't think the Illinois is ranked too high. And that's a really, really good Michigan team. And to lose by 14 is almost good the way that Michigan has been handling some of these teams. So, yeah, I don't think that they're ranked too high.
Yeah. So this the thing about that Illinois team. It's a lot of finesse. So when they run into somebody that's physical like Michigan, they gonna struggle. And that's why these matchups in this March Madness tournament going to be key for them. Because if they meet anybody like Duke, Michigan, Arizona, teams like that, they going to struggle, bro. It's just too much finesse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you 1,000% right there, one take Zaya. Illinois does not want any parts of being physical and a team leaning on them, boxing them out, a team that rebounds well. Illinois don't want no parts of that, man, and they're going to run into somebody in the tournament that's going to out physical them, and that's probably going to be the team that pits them out of the tournament. But if they run into some people who don't want to be physical, they got a really good chance of beating them because, like you said, Illinois want to be finesse all day. They don't want to really get down there and grind and pound them boards real hard. And we've seen that when they played Michigan, and we've seen that when they played Michigan State as well. SEC Sean, my Longhorns come to Aggie Land today. How do you see that game going? And this got to be a must win for Texas in order for Texas to even see themselves on the bubble of making the tournament. How do you see that game going today, SEC Sean?
I think it's a must win for both, to be honest with you. I don't know. To be honest, if you want my honest opinion, I'd probably say Texas beats A&M at home. I think the lack of size from A&M right now is starting to catch up with them, and teams are figuring out how to handle this press all day, and they're starting to figure out. And A&M's not shooting the ball terribly. They're shooting terribly from three right now, and that's what they have to do. They have to hit their outside shots, and I just think the size of Texas is going to wind up beating A&M this time. I think that's just how I look at it. I think that big, tall dude down there is going to have a field day, unless we get him in foul trouble, which that happened when we played in Austin. We got Texas in serious foul trouble, and that's how A&M was able to pull that out. So could happen again, but if you made me pick a game today, I'm going to tell you Texas probably beats A&M, and they probably beat A&M pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right. Let's turn our attentions to the NFL Combine. The NFL Combine started on Thursday. What are your takes from the D-line and linebackers from that day?
I think we already know it. It's what it talks about when it comes to the linebackers. That boy from the Ohio State University, 40-yard dash, blew numbers out the water. I'm impressed, and I'm actually impressed. Looking forward to my boy Darrell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. NFL scouts ranting and raving about his size, athleticism, and his upside. If you think about Florida State defensive linemen, tackles, we definitely been on the board. We in the NFL making waves in the last few years. So I'm actually looking forward to what he do when he get drafted. I know he'll be coming off that draft board, not for sure when, but definitely looking forward to it. And Styles, you just put on the show, man.
Yeah, the combine from Thursday. The combine from Thursday. My bad, SEC. We learned a lot of things, and I think that Arvell Reese confirmed to me that he'll be the second pick in the draft. I thought he would go second. I wanted to see how he performed at the combine, and he only confirmed my thoughts, which is that he's just a freak, man, and a guy you can line up at multiple different positions to get after the quarterback. He's going to make a lot of money in the NFL. I thought that Trey Moore, David Bailey, Malachi Lawrence from UCF, all these guys helped themselves out during the combine. As far as the linebackers, Rob, y'all know you're a Texas guy. I thought Anthony Hill shot up the draft boards. So I know Mossberg took him in the first round of our mock draft, and we kind of gave him a little side eye for that. But I don't think that's too far fetched. I think Anthony Hill really stood out as one of the better performances running that 4.5. Kalen E. Lawrence or from TCU running a 4.4. I mean, tremendous for a guy like that. And of course, everybody gonna mention Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles being that freak of nature that we thought he was. He only confirmed it with that 4-4. So a lot of excitement coming from the D line and the linebackers. Fellas, this class is deep and nasty. I love this NFL draft and the prospects that they have, and we're gonna get some more fireworks today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a say that I didn't see anybody doing anything except for my Buckeyes. I was just blinded and blown away by everything. You know, a lot of great individual performances out there, but man, my Buckeye linebackers just stole the show. And we'll get to them DBs as well. But man, and Sonny Styles, they have they'll give you a label at Ohio State, and it's a freak. It's an actual freak. And he was one of those freaks who tested high in everything that they've done, and he's actually been testing high like that for the past few years. You know, so I knew he was going to go in there and tear them combines up because, like, he's actually one of those athletes who has been working to perfect all of the combine skills. You know, that's what you really work for when you're in college. You want to develop and you want to be able to go to the combine and blow that baby away. And that's what Sonny and Reese did. Both of them blew it away. Sonny didn't put himself up in the top 5 conversation. So great performances by my Buckeyes, and that's the reason why you go to Ohio State. You want to get developed, and you want to be in the position to get to that combine and go make some money. And we're going to have quite a few fellas making some first round money this year, man. I'm proud of my Buckeyes, and I'm still amazed at how we didn't win the national championship. But you already know how I feel about those things with sports now. But the the speed, the strength that we had on that team to come up empty and 2 teams beat us is still mind blowing to me.
You know, I love the D line and the linebacker drills because I thought those dudes was really competing out there. You know, they was trying to. Yeah, we know that they're not padded up and they're not actually going at each other, but it's competition and everything that I saw out there, especially between our guys. Arvell Reese and Sonny was both trying to one up each other the whole time. Uh, so I just like that they was out there competing, man. That's a job interview, so I felt like they all gave their all. Now, my one surprise was um, I thought Jacoby Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I didn't like his time, man. I didn't think he was going to run a 4.61. I thought it would be a little better, um, but nevertheless, that was the only thing that I took away. I'm kind of like T1. I didn't see too much because I was really locked in on the main 2 Buckeyes. Um, and McDonald, he didn't. I don't think he really did much out there in them drills. But I don't know. I did catch Rodriguez out of Texas Tech workouts though, and that's all I'm saying for real.
Yeah, I think uh, Reese put up phenomenal. What he did was great. Styles, that vertical was insane. Um, just we've pretty much everybody pretty much covered what went on. I saw from Thursday's results, so not really much else. I just you know uh, Styles and Reese just kind of jumped us. Reese, I think, maybe threw his name even further for the Raiders to make them consider: is Mendoza the one or is Reese the one? At least he gave them something to think about. They're still going to take Mendoza.
Yeah, I thought last year's NFL draft at these 2 positions was unbelievable. But now when I'm looking at these guys' measurables, how they ran, how they performed at this combine, 2 back-to-back years where you're getting some monsters, bro. and what we've able to see them do at this combine, I'm thinking to myself, if you're an old head in the NFL and you have been there for a while, you might be expendable. I mean, your experience is going to have to carry you. But the way these guys is coming in now, man, as fast as they are, as big as they are, those guys, man, no job is secure in the NFL unless you're one of those guys who, you the mainstay at the school that you at. But I think these teams that really need a lot of players, they need defensive line help, they need linebacker help. You are going to be able to get it in this year's draft based on what we saw on Thursday with these guys at this combine. Some outstanding performances by most of them from what I saw.
Just to think real quick about Sonny Styles, his vertical. He been throwing it down like that since Pickerington, man. Like, go check out some of his basketball highlights. A lot of people didn't know he wore that Kobe, that bean number 24, but he was jumping out the gym in high school over at Pickerington North, man. So I'm in love with what he's doing. I wish he could come down to the Bengals at that 10th pick, but I don't think it's possible. After what he did yesterday, he's top 5. He put on the show. Top 3, if you ask me.
Hey, I was just having this argument with my brother. I told him if I was the Titans, I would draft Sonny.
And he could change the defense, man. Like, after seeing that yesterday, NFL, man. Ohio State got a factory at that linebacker position, and I think it's going to change a lot from them two coming into the NFL and the way they just did this combine this year. Moving forward, now you're going to have to see who's linebacker you all over.
Yeah, if a top 5 team drafted in this year's draft, if they can see themselves putting Sonny Styles in positions during the game to rush the quarterback, he could definitely be a top 5 pick, bro. That's probably the only thing that will probably keep him from being a top 5 pick if teams don't necessarily see themselves using him in that way. But he got the size, he got the speed, he got the strength and the ability. If somebody sees him that way, he could definitely be a top 5 pick, bro.
Yeah.
On Friday, we had DBs and tight ends. Who stood out to you, and what measurables surprised you the most from any of these players, or maybe 2 or 3 of these players in this combine?
Man, the one player that to me had the most impact on his draft stock last night was definitely Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. That dude right there, freakish tight end. And I think he went from late first round. He might climb up into the top 12 or 13 picks because if you need a tight end, he just crashed your draft board probably. Check out some of these measurables, man. The 40-yard dash, he runs a 4.39. Guess what Odell Beckham ran? A 4.43. 10-yard splits, fellas. He ran his in 1.54 seconds at tight end. Deshaun Jackson ran his at 1.55. Unbelievable. Vertical jump. Kenyon Sadiq, 43 and a half. Julio Jones, 38 and a half. Bro, Kenyon Sadiq just made himself some big money, and I think he's going to climb up draft boards. Another tight end being Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. I think he did himself some good. I think he's going to make a lot of plays in the NFL. When we talk about DBs, of course, Styles stole the show with that 4.27, but I think everybody knew. I knew because he used to be at Notre Dame. That straight line speed is incredible. So I think Styles did himself some good. D'Angelo Pons jumping so high, I think he kind of eased the concern of his height. Him only being 5'8" and being able to jump and contest balls like that. So I think Pons had a great day as well. But Eli Stowers just blew away the combine.
Hey, quick question, post. Like, and I'm jumping on my homie. You mentioned him. Like, anybody can answer this real quick, but where do y'all think that Lorenzo Styles was going to get drafted before he turned in that 4.29 40? Because, like you said, Post, you know him, and that's the reason why he had an opportunity to go to either Ohio State or Notre Dame because of that speed that he had.
Yep.
So, but before that 4.29, where'd y'all see Lorenzo getting picked at in this draft at all?
7th round pick. But he probably will still go 6th, 7th round pick because his tape is not that good.
Yeah, you got to factor into the tape, but I mean, I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was 4.27 fast. That was that was incredible. But I mean, I think his problem is the agility side. The straight line speed we know is going to be there, but I mean, we never know. A team might fall in love with that and pick him in the 4th or 5th if they need a safety and he fits that scheme. You never know. But that was an impressive run, man.
And that's what I was going to say too. Like, we all have to remember, all it takes is for one team to fall in love with you, and we know how much they love that 40 and they love that top speed. So, yeah, I think he might have snuck in that 5th possibly. That's just my thought. Of course, I'm gonna do what I do as a Buckeye, but I think he might have snuck up in that 5th round, or maybe even early 6th, because he also potentially could have not got drafted at all. Because as they said, it just really ain't the tape isn't really there. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know if y'all looked at his physique as well, but the young man was looking nice out there. So it looked like he had some good size on him, and the speed, and you can get the right fit and the right coaching staff who may believe in you and may say, I may be able to get the best possible out of this young man, because we already know the DNA is immaculate. So I think he snuck up in that 5th.
T, I wouldn't. So now that you said 5th, though, I wouldn't be mad if somebody took him in 5th just because of the kick return rules now and how different it is and how important it is to have somebody back there that's dynamic. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did take him in the 5th, honestly.
I mean, with that kind of speed, he could definitely be a phenomenal special teams player until he picks up the scheme and how things happen at that safety position, where if he get to work with somebody who can help him with his hip movement and all of that. But I think as a special teams guy, he could definitely fill a void for somebody as a special teams guy for sure.
Yeah, everybody was pretty much talked about that I was going to mention, but I'll give somebody that I think moved themselves up a little bit, because I've seen him as the 4th to 5th ranked tight end. But I think Stowers improved his stock a little bit with his vertical and his broad jump. I mean, he didn't run the fastest time. He ran a 4.59 or 4.51, I think. But he had a good vertical. He's athletic, so I think he might have moved himself up into that number 2 tight end slot, maybe. But he moved himself up, in my opinion, based on his performance.
Yeah, Sean. Stowers broke the record for vertical leap amongst tight ends with 45 and a half. So that's definitely a guy. I thought he would be like during when last year first started, I thought he would be the first tight end off the board. But obviously that's going to be Sadiq now. But I definitely think Stowers improved his stock. That dude's a freak also.
Plus, I got a pull for him because he's a former Texas A&M player.
I like the Toriano Pride Jr. He ran a 4.32 out of Missouri. I think he literally jumped the draft boards. I didn't even have him in my first round mock, in the first one or the second one. I think he's for sure a cornerback. Kind of reminds me of Nicky Mamori, how he performed in his combine last year when he ran that 40. And boom, he's the first, late first round pick, and he's now a Super Bowl champion. So could this possibly be something that, carries on this year? They see that great speed from a cornerback that you didn't even have on your draft boards, and you pick him and he go out there and he just performs. I think he could definitely fill that position great. Got the speed as we see, size and athleticism, but his ball deflections and awareness, I think, is something that gets overlooked with him being at Missouri. And I think being at that next level, he'll definitely have a lot of those passes defensed and more as well.
Yeah, my two guys, man, same two guys. I've pretty much been mentioning. I thought they helped themselves. The first one is Takario Davis, the cornerback out of Washington. Measured in at 6'3", 7'8" and he came out there and ran a 4.41 at 40, and I thought that was very important. Even the other guy from Washington, Prysock, who's probably more projected in the later rounds, like 6th, 7th rounds. Uh, I think he helped himself too because he ran around the same time, like 4.45 or something, and they both 6'3", 7'8". So I think both of those guys helped themselves. But the guy that I think really made himself the most money out of all them cornerbacks that I think he just slid into the first round was D'Angelo Ponce, because the tape is there, the numbers is there, and the only knock on him is his size. I think he just slid in the first round though. I like if I'm like so when we did the mock the other day and Moss stole that pick, he went safety. I would probably think like D'Angelo Ponce could be right there because he's a finished product. He's already an older guy, and I think he coming in day one ready to play. So I think he just made him some money though, man. I think he another guy that had like a 43-inch vertical.
Yeah, I agree with you. One take, Zay. I think Pons really did himself a great service by doing what he did yesterday. I really was only focusing in on a few guys, and they happened to be Texas guys because I knew what pretty much everybody else was going to do because of the tape that they had. I needed to see what these two Texas guys would do in terms of running the 40. I think Malik Muhammad did himself a good service by the time that he ran, and he'll probably be one of the top 10 cornerbacks drafted in this year's draft. And I also think Michael Taft running a 4.5, I thought was the best he could probably do, but I didn't expect him to run a 4.5. I thought he would be more like a 4.6, somewhere in that range. I thought he did himself a service, especially in terms of making somebody's team as a special teams player. He's really, really smart, a guy that you can allow to develop at that safety position. And he could probably be an addition for you whenever you got to give a guy a spell or two during the game. But I like the way both of those two guys ran. I like the way Malik Muhammad performed at the combine, and also tight end Jack Indries. Even though his measurables and all that weren't that great, he's going to be one of those tight ends that somebody pick up in the 6th or 7th round. And he could be a steal if they can help him with his inline blocking. Because as far as pass catching and route running, he's a really, really good tight end. Today we will have the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. What are you most excited about today, and who are you most excited about seeing?
I'm going to jump on this real quick if y'all don't mind, and then I'm going to jump off so I can get my day rolling. I got my eye on a couple of quarterbacks real. I really want to see what Haynes King does running, because I know he's got the speed. Him and Taylon Green are the two I want to see the most out of the quarterbacks today. If they run and stuff, I'm curious on their speeds. That's just the two I'm looking for there. Running back, I mean, we already know the number one running back, number two running back. There's a couple of others out there that I'm real kind of watching just to see the speed. I want to see if Le'Veon Moss is even going to do anything there, see how he's coming back from that injury. and Mike Washington, just to kind of see. He's more of a bigger back, but I'd like to see what he can do. And then at wide receiver, of course, I want to see who's going to wind up with that blazing speed. And then, of course, keep an eye on my boys from A&M Concepcion, see what kind of numbers he does and see how he looks. So other than that, that's really what I'm looking forward to. But I hate to say it, the combine's going to take a backseat to college basketball today.
I'm gonna say I'm really looking forward to Ty Simpson. I like him. I don't know what it is about Simpson over Mendoza for me. I know everybody feels the way they do about Mendoza. I like Simpson's upside. I think he's out to do what Sonny Styles did this past week. I think he's out to prove to everyone that he could be that franchise quarterback. You don't just put a kid in the NFL draft after 1 year for no reason. His upside must be high. So I like it. I'm looking forward to him. I'm looking forward to Jeremiah Love. And I'm looking forward to Mekhi Lemon and Carnell Tate at that wide receiver position. I think, you're these four players specifically, they could fall off right behind each other in this draft. Top 10 in any way, along with some of the other names we've mentioned, but I'm definitely keying in on these guys. Some of my guys that I like, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, Moss, you starting to hear the rumblings, man, about Ty Simpson. Everybody was looking at you with the side eye, saying you was crazy a couple weeks ago, man. They saying highest 15 now,
I wanted to take him number 1 over Mendoza when we did the draft, but I would have got fried for that, bro.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I know. I know. That's why I didn't do it.
Now, hey, we know Moss will jump all the way out there on the ledge with something, and he all the way out there right now. I'm still not buying this Simpson kid. I'm sorry. I'm still not buying it, but I can't wait to see him get drafted, see wherever he goes. And I can eat the crow if I have to, but I'm still not buying it. I can't do it. And then to say take him over Mendoza. And I feel like Mendoza. I feel like he's nice. He's okay. I just feel like he was more in a system than anything. And when you have to go out here and win games and depend on your IQ and depend on your legs to get you up out of something because that line isn't doing nothing, and you have to turn into that special number 1 overall pick. Not even, man. I don't think that this quarterbacking class is that impressive, and I really don't think that if you had some former number 1 pick quarterbacks out here, that Mendoza would even be in the conversation.
So quarterback, running back, and wide receiver today. Interesting. On the quarterback side, I'm with y'all. I'm excited to see Ty Simpson. This is a guy after like week 4 or 5 I had as the Heisman favorite. Now, he didn't finish consistently, but he was on a tear to begin the season. Some scouts are saying that Ty Simpson's tape is better than Mendoza. So I definitely think he played himself or put himself in position to go in the first round. I don't know about top 10, but I think in that back end of the first round, that's a good spot for Simpson, and we'll see what happens. I want to see Diego Pavia's measurements and his speed. And I want to see him throw. I'm not a big fan of smaller quarterbacks, but I think if somebody could steal the show with his interviews and his measurables, it could be him. Of course, from day one, I've been a Sawyer Robertson guy. I'm really excited to see him throw the football and show off his arm strength and accuracy in front of all those scouts. Running backs, I mean, Jeremiah Love, to me, is the best player in the draft. I think his measurables are going to align with the likes of Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's in that class as far as running back talent goes. And I think the NFL is going to make a huge mistake if he falls to Kansas City and you get to pair him with Big Andy Reid and a healthy Pat Mahomes. I mean, you got to think about the running backs that Andy Reid has had: Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy, Deuce Staley, guys like that. Now, I know he's missed the last couple of years on running backs, but if they're able to pair Jeremiah Love in that Kansas City offense, I think not only can Love lead rookies in rushing, but I think he's so versatile and talent. I think he can challenge for the overall lead in receiving yards. That's what will happen if he falls to Kansas City. Wide receivers, really deep position. I'm looking at guys like Malachi Fields. I want to see where he runs. The Brazil guy that I know Zay is high on. I want to see his measurables and how he performs. Wide receiver is a deep position, and I also would like to see where Carnell Tate runs. Is he a 4 or 5 guy? Could he surprise us in getting them 4.4s? If he gets in them 4.4s, I think he's not getting past Cleveland at 6. So a lot of good players and a lot of excitement for today.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily looking for particular players. I just want to see what all of them do in terms of running the 40. I want to see how these quarterbacks throw the football, and I want to see how these running backs run their 40s and wide receivers as well. I just want to see what all of these guys do when they have an opportunity to show the NFL scouting world what kind of skill set they have. Are they going to go out and take advantage of the opportunity, or are they going to, fumble the opportunity? So I'm looking at that for those guys. I think all of these guys that's there today, they have an opportunity to show a team or two, you can fall in love with me because of this or that. And if they can take advantage of that, they can get a chance of getting drafted really, really high. I really feel like the fact that we got so many talented players in this draft coming up, especially in the first round, only one quarterback is probably going to get taken in that first round. Ty Simpson could possibly squeeze in there, but outside of Mendoza and him, I don't think any other quarterback can even get in that first round because there's so many guys at all those other positions, man, are so freaking dynamic and so good and so fast that you can't pass up on those guys and go reaching for a quarterback. So I'm anxious to see how these guys perform today, but not any particular one or two guys.
I'm gonna bring up one more name at the wide receiver position. I think people need to have their eyes on, and that's Skylar Bell from UConn. This guy was a Biletnikoff Award finalist, 101 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 13 touchdowns. I want to see his measurables because I think he can do a lot of good for himself if he blows the minds of scouts with that kind of production and film that he had coming from UConn.
Hey, is Taylor Green in the combine?
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I don't know why this guy's not getting no buzz out here. Like he getting zero buzz. I want to see what he do. I wonder if he's going to throw. Because that's what really separates quarterbacks when they throw. But I'm looking at Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen. I want to see some of these running backs. The running back from Nebraska, because they're not saying this. They're not really saying this is a deep draft class in the running back position. And I like some of these dudes. I think some of these dudes can help next year on some of these teams. So I want to see these running backs perform.
Yeah, Taylor Green is a interesting prospect, man. We know what Arkansas was one of the worst teams. We all know that, but they were one of the better offenses. And a guy that's 6'6" and 230, a dual threat, his athleticism, his arm strength, he's going to be an interesting watch today. So I think the knock on him is his mechanics and his inconsistent accuracy, but he definitely can play himself. A team can fall in love with him and take him in the second or third round.
I was about to say, could he possibly be like one of those Antoine Randall L's. You know, how he was a great, college quarterback, we felt, and then he got to the NFL and, he played well at his, receiver position.
He definitely got the size and athleticism. So again, that's one of the prospects to definitely keep your eye on.
And that's just one of the great things about the draft in whatever sport. I don't care what sport it is. You just need for one team, one coach to just absolutely fall in love with you, and that's the beauty of this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us this morning, man. We had a really, really good show. Great topic. Everybody tune in with us tomorrow morning. Our man One Take Zay is going to be heading up tomorrow's show, and we're looking forward to what he got for us on the slate. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this basketball. Enjoy the combine and whatever else you got going on today. Have a good one. We'll see y'all all again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Join us. All right, fellas. I appreciate you.
Peace out.
Hey,
Love y'all, fellas.
Love
Yes,
you.
sir.
love you,
In the
bro.
building, now we about this, baby.
We out.